How's it going, folks? Name's KGOKev, and happy 4th anniversary to Your Turn to Die, the majority vote death game created by mangaka Nankidai that I'm sure most of us like quite a bit. To celebrate all of Nankidai's hard work, I've compiled statements from fans, let's players, artists, cosplayers, streamers, memers, all kinds of individuals in the Your Turn to Die fandom, here to express why Your Turn to Die is so freaking good. Let me know in the comments what you love about Your Turn to Die. Link and subscribe for Botson and so Q-taro Monichi tokens. Click the subscribe button, and with all that said, let's get into it. 100 things fans love about Your Turn to Die / Kimi ga Shine.
Die!
Joe is iconic.
The entirety of Chapter 3, so far anyways, is definitely my favorite chapter.
The very first choice in the game, where the shadowy figure teaches you about majority votes and then proceeds to kill either Red Woman or Blue Man, which is an immediate shock but so sets the tone of the game very well looking back. My god. I'll never forget you, Red Woman. Never.
The most perfect and wonderful, amazing waifu ever, Reko, who I love so very much, so much that it hurts.
Reko is best girl and I'm lesbians with her. Not to mention she reminded me of Ibuki Miyoda at the beginning, so that's a good first impression.
The best Boi Potential that this game has is just fabulous.
Kurumada, Alice, Keiji, and Q-taro, they all make me feel very safe when I see them on screen.
Y'all want to know what I really like about Your Turn to Die? Everybody else on this list is going to be talking about the gameplay and the characters and all of this and that. My favorite thing about Your Turn to Die is finding out that the spooky shuffle exists. The spooky shuffle actually exists, and it's one of my favorite songs in Your Turn to Die, and I found out that it was a Vampirina, and I was just like, why would you ruin my song?
I like seeing Gashu die.
I definitely like how much it's like Zero Escape because I really like Zero Escape.
Play Zero Escape.
How close everyone in the cosplay community feels. Since there's not a huge amount of us, we hype each other up like crazy.
I never thought I'd sue Keiji, but he's super fun to cosplay. Getting pushed into a bush and breaking it with Keiji's fat ass is always a highlight.
Sara is a cool-ass MC.
My favorite girl boss, Sara.
Sara as a protagonist is really cool, and she's just like a genuinely awesome character.
Coming from an anime fan, it's very rare to find that many cool women main characters. But Sara is different though. She took charge from the get-go. Keiji's a seasoned officer, and he prefers Sara to take over.
She's really likable, unlike other games where their main character is just like a hollow shell. Sara feels like an actual character.
Usually, the protagonist is the character you know the most about since, well, you are them. So to have even the protagonist be shrouded in so much mystery is honestly a treat.
Sara Chidoin is a great female protagonist and is a great example of a character that the player needs to mold to fit their own personality.
The subtle differences in Sara and the So route and the Kanna route, oh, I eat that up. Bon appetit.
When even Midori's saying that she has a lot of potential if she were to just go off on her own, that tells you a lot.
Also, she has a fun personality in Your Time to Shine, so that helps.
I really have a thing for the pixel art. It's just really tiny and cute and minimalist and adorable.
I like seeing Megumi die.
Midori is a well-written villain. You just love to hate the guy.
The characters are just so good. You really love the good guys, but you really hate the stinky bad guys.
Kanna, the most precious character who will protect for the rest of my days. Sorry, not sorry, so.
I really liked Kanna's character development. There was that one point in the beginning where she's like, oh, it's fine if I die, I don't give a shit. Contrast that with like her shit in the latest chapters where she's like, I'm not gonna stand back, I'm gonna fucking get this victory royale. You know, I love her character development.
It was really helpful that you can start a new chapter without save data of the previous chapters. It didn't set me back in the game, and that I appreciated.
Sapphilin's character is interesting. Is she a villain, or is she a victim in this too?
There's a hot spring scene that doesn't involve the male characters trying to sneak in and spy on the girls. The trope is really annoying, so I'm happy they didn't do it.
Finding out that Kuki is attracted to girls. You'll love to see it.
The game's executions are fucking cutthroat. Bro got decapitated in the most painful way. Now had his execution been worse, it was her lower waist, bro. Like, why you gotta do my girl like that, man?
Now in Reko is love, now in Reko is life. Now Reko forever.
Like any standard death game, Your Turn to Die incorporates some semi-impossible elements. In this case, sentient and completely humanized dolls, which in turn brings complex moral decisions that must be made throughout the game.
Anzu. Just Anzu. She is by far my favorite character for literally no reason. She's just so precious.
I think Anzu's design is so pretty and her personality is super cute. She's also super relatable in many senses and is very much like one of the more human dummies.
I love Anzu. She's such a funny clown. Too bad she has to die.
My favorite death in the series is Midori's. Hate that guy. Ugh, get him out of here.
I absolutely adore the minigames in Chapter 2 of Your Turn to Die. We need more minigames in visual novels, please.
And I like the fact that you can play them with different characters as partners and it actually has an impact on the gameplay.
The attractions were such a cool concept and I had a really fun time playing them. Except for Memory Dance. Nobody likes Memory Dance.
I like that most of the puzzles aren't crazy difficult and I can still do them even if I'm having a sort of off day where things aren't connecting.
The dummies' existence in 3A and 3B. They're such good characters, and they deserve the spotlight.
The way the game sets up the precedent that dolls are basically humans, with the Reko doll, and then introduces a whole slew of other dolls, really makes me feel for all of them.
I love Sohiyori! And by that I mean the fake one, not Midori. That guy sucks.
Shin gets a lot of character development. His personality starts degrading the longer he lives because he knows that he has to die at some point.
Although we can't really tell whether So's a good guy or a bad guy, and is one of the best written morally great characters out there.
He went in I'm gonna be the villain, and he can't. He just can't because he has emotions and he's a human.
I thought you were gonna say you like him because he's just like you, unemployed.
The character designs, absolutely phenomenal.
All of the characters have such cool and unique designs.
They all just look so appealing.
The designs of the characters are super fun and memorable, especially a lot of the dolls.
I mean, there's literally a melon soda lady and a pancake girl.
It's like, damn, does everyone have dress game in this game?
The designs are really unique to each character, defining who they are. And, why is there a pudding on Kanna's head?
Having the ability to name Midori has led to some of the greatest screenshots of all time.
I really enjoyed the interrogation minigame we got in that one chapter.
Rio Ranger, Rio Ranger, Rio Ranger.
Rio Ranger, his best boy.
Ranger being a stinky little boy. He's just a funny little man who also has non-binary energy with the skirt.
I absolutely love Rio Ranger's whole aesthetic. No one's touching him on drip.
Kai is cool.
Eggs Benedict.
The interaction between Kai and Sarah's dad from the past, where Mr. Jidoin gave Kai his new apron. It made me very happy to see another side to Kai.
I love Keiji just because he's like your local friendly policeman. Keiji!
Keiji is hot.
Keiji is not just hot, but he is a complex and morally ambiguous character. Girls like that.
He always had this looming mysterious aura around him before the lore drops in chapter 3A/3B. Characters with secretive stories like that will always win my heart, I think.
KJ's massive fucking pecs. He could crush me between those babies. I like a man with a little bit of booba.
Boobies. Keiji boobies.
Keiji's beautiful arms. End of story.
Yeah.
What about them arms?
Oh, crush
Reason
me.
number I mean, have you seen them? Damn.
I know a lot of people love and simp for Keiji, but I absolutely love him. He was a good companion to both Sara and Gin. He was able to be there for Sara as well when she was having her terrifying hallucinations of Joe, or just sticking around to ensure that she didn't hurt herself when she was hallucinating.
The main game mechanics are really well structured.
The trials are so much.
They scare me.
I love how the main game is just anime Town of Salem / werewolf, just with different cards.
I love the rules for the main game and how it subverts expectations. There's a lot of reasons for characters to pretend they're a role that they're not, so it really makes you question everybody during the game, and I feel like they play in the rules very strategically for that, and I really appreciate it.
It's very stressful because you know that there's a slim chance one of your favorites die.
Click.
The way death is handled and how even dead characters still have relevance and are never really gone is really interesting.
I love how they expand the characters past their death. Characters like Kai and Mishima, who I never really expected to learn very much about considering they died so early. I love the fact that they kept getting brought up and expanded on either through their AI or just their connection to the main story. I feel like the game does a really good job of making every character feel really important.
Having a pretty large age range of the main cast.
Look at this diverse set of people who all come from different walks of life.
Your Turn to Die has a very unique take on the death game genre, which involves not only adults, but also children and teenagers of all ages.
I'm kind of sick of just seeing teenagers in all media ever.
The varied ages of the characters make it a lot more interesting than the sort of same-noteness I get sometimes with other games like Danganronpa.
It leaves much more room for unique relationship building and also individual character development.
I love how Nankidai always adds something new to each chapter, aside from just continuing the story. He really stepped up his game in both parts of Chapter 3.
Ranmaru is amazing. He's definitely like one of my top 3 favorite characters. Like, just his whole character. Why does he have to die? Like, why can't he just live? He always has to die. Like, why?
I really love the line puzzle from 3B, the one with the electricity. I just keep funneling the electricity here and there and here and there.
The electric charge minigame, I would actually just play that game for fun if I'm being completely honest. Best minigame in the whole game for me.
Surprisingly, there were no throwaway characters, and honestly, every character pretty much plays a big part, even the ones who die early.
The game makes each character interesting. Not one of them is useless to the plot. Each has their contribution to the story. I love how it's one of the only games that make you cry when even the smallest of characters die.
I like how it feels like every character can contribute to the story equally. The story doesn't really put some characters in the spotlight while neglecting others. The cast here feels like a whole team rather than a couple main characters and some side characters, as seen with other ensemble casts.
It's free to play.
You can play it on any device that has an internet connection.
The game is 100% free. That much excites an adult like myself.
Not only free, but easily accessible and playable.
I love how you can play Your Turn to Die online, download the save data, and continue to play on other computers and even mobile devices.
It just allows anyone to enjoy it without going through like complicated means or accidentally downloading viruses or needing some VPN. You can even play it on the Xbox browser if you wanted.
Alice also made me laugh, despite his sad backstory. And the fact that it was all a facade and Alice was actually innocent tears me up inside.
I love Alice. He's so much fun.
I like his overly verbose speech, and he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's funny.
I am obsessed with Midori's little dance that he does in Chapter 3. Look at him go. He's just jamming.
The music is really good.
The music is bumping.
Oh yeah.
Soundtrack is something I listen to a lot. Like every day I just listen to Clown Song, Samurai Woman, and I'll move forward for a good 20 minutes.
Sometimes the soundtrack goes so hard during sad scenes, I'm literally dancing while trying to fight back tears.
Each song just slaps, and they really add to the scenes to make them more impactful.
If you've never jammed out or had your heart touched by one of these amazing songs in this game, I can't believe you.
This game has a hard-ass soundtrack. When I heard Major Panic for the first time, I jumped out my chair because that shit freaked me out.
The songs are absolute bangers. Her and Madman being my personal favorites.
Do 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 do.
The music in Part 3B is Chef's Kiss. The B in Part 3B must stand for banger.
The fact that all of this amazing music in Your Turn to Die is made in GarageBand, bravo, Nankidai.
The music is all made in GarageBand.
But you can't spell GarageBand without banger either.
I know that it's GarageBand loops, but there are GarageBand loops, okay? I've developed a connection.
I feel like if the game had any other music, it just wouldn't be the same.
Boop 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 boop.
Kazumi Mishima is undoubtedly one of the most compassionate characters in video game history. He is the perfect example of a seemingly suspicious character who later demonstrates his compassion and eventually willingly sacrifices himself for the survival of the group.
We didn't really appreciate him until after he died. Mishima's like a big fucking dork. I love him. Mishima died so early, so he made a side game where we can appreciate Mishima more.
I hope we get one for all of the side characters so we can get more Joe.
Mai's probably my favorite dummy. Her development throughout the game, from being a traitor to becoming an ally in the end, is super cool and so well done.
I really enjoy how unique the game is, which makes me mad when there's people that compare it to Danganronpa or 999. I mean, I guess you could say it's kinda similar because of a death game, but it's just not the same.
One of my favorite characters is definitely Q-taro Burgerberg, just because he's so effing ridiculous, looks so silly, and yet the game manages to make me care so much about a guy that looks like this. It sounds crazy, but they pulled it off.
My favorite character and arguably the most realistic is my main man Q-taro Bad, who exemplifies the definition of someone who is playing the death game fairly and logically. He is generally looking out for everyone, but will not hesitate to drop anyone who is hindering the group.
The freaking scene with Q-taro, that bad ending that you get in chapter 2, where Q-taro literally puts the change in the machine and it's game over. He's like, I screw all of y'all. I'm out. Q-taro Berg, out. I'm out. I was like, dude, this man is a savage. That made me think differently about Q-taro. Q-taro's my favorite character, by the way, and like this scene is peak Q-taro, let me tell you.
Clear character growth, especially with Q-taro.
Started out extremely selfish, was willing to betray the group, wanted to sacrifice the damn kids.
He didn't like him because he was selfish and wanted to save himself, even at the expense of fucking Gin!
And he develops to the point that he literally sacrifices himself for everybody.
Q-taro's redemption ploy was just one of those plans that make you cheer and cry for him.
Nankidai really has a way of making you like a character you've hated before.
Everyone went from hating Q-taro to crying for him when he died.
He was able to, reflect on his actions and, atone for them.
Despite all the, memes, I genuinely believe he's a very great character.
There are many memes about Q-taro, and some people still don't forgive the behavior Q-taro has shown in the previous chapters. But I commend Q-taro and his willingness to become a better person.
Q-taro's dumpy.
Q-taro got a thick ass!
You can't unfatten this ass stream.
Charming, funny moments between the characters, such as Alice making a big fuss about the breakfast that Safalin gives him, and then after he leaves, Safalin's like, I really don't like Alice. Or Sara scaring So by being really friendly and oh, we've been friends all along, and he's like, The
bonding events in Chapter 2 were always a joy to go through.
And just lots of the character interactions in general, they really mesh with each other really well, and they're really, really funny.
Ranmaru's hair. That's all.
Sara, best ship, OTP, gives me life, love Sara, hope, love, live, laugh, Sara. I love Sara. Yes!
I've honestly been vibing with the game's upload schedule, because it just leaves months for theories and fan art, and it's just been phenomenal seeing what the community can come up with.
Nankidai's art tweets. Need I say more?
I really, really love Nankidai's sketches.
I love how Nankidai does goofy drawings with his characters. I wish more creators did it, because it's amazing.
Nankidai shitposts his characters even more than the fandom does.
There's countless sketches that Nankidai has done, and they were super wholesome, characters are giving Gin piggybacks, and it was so cute.
The sprites are good.
The art is super stylish.
The art style of the game is really unique and just generally really well done.
I love the art style of Your Turn to Die. From the characters and the CGs.
It has a really unique style to it, and it's one that I would love to replicate.
Not only do they look good, but for tense and kind of spooky moments, the art style can do a really good job at creating a sense of hopelessness or fear.
Every single art piece looks amazing, and I love the textures that they use. I can't believe this is all made by one person.
I love how Nankidai uses gameplay to enhance the story rather than to be a distraction to it. It makes the experience feel a lot more personal.
I definitely like point-and-click games. The main gameplay of point-and-click works really well.
The characters in general are all so fun and likable.
It makes it much easier to relate to them.
I like how none of the characters ever feel unlikable or made to feel unlikable, aside from the obvious antagonists.
Character writing is very good, and a lot of the characters are relatable in terms of personality or things they go through or insecurities they have.
I really like all the characters in this game, and each and every one of them has something likable about them.
I like all the quirks the characters have. All of the characters have a little quirk that makes them all unique and fun.
Whether or not you're a misunderstood teacher who just wants the best for and protects those around them, or a best friend who always wants to keep people smiling, the different backgrounds of the cast will touch you and make you relate to them one way or the other. I know I've seen myself in a few of them, and it's definitely gotten me to shed a few tears here and there.
Very realistic characters and character development.
None of the characters feel very one note.
Similar to Danganronpa, the characters are more than what their tropes depict. But at the same time, I really like how it's not too anime-ish. It feels like a standalone kind of game.
Characters can have conflicting emotions and motivations, and neither are always clear-cut good or bad. Like real people?
All of the characters just genuinely feel like people.
Sure, there are some characters that do flawed things, but it always comes from a place of goodwill or logic, and it really makes these characters feel like actual people.
Characters are just extremely well written, and it's nice.
I fucking love boxing!
When we're able to piece together Gin's memories and how him and Midori met, the drawing of him and his paws on his face and looking all cute makes me cry tears of joy.
Gin's iconic nicknames for everybody, especially Crabstash.
Cotton Candy, Muscle Gorilla, Suit and Specs. This man's a genius, a prodigy.
Really neat autism representation with Gin.
Gin actually being confirmed to be autistic, it made me happy. He didn't wish to not be autistic anymore. He just wished that he could make his mom happy. He loves himself. He loves himself just the way he is.
Ginabushi is so cute. He's like the sweetest kid ever.
Gin is hardworking. Despite his childlike appearance, he wants to be just as much as help as any of the adults.
Jin Ibushi, look at this boy. How could you not like this boy?
Protect Jin.
Even though he's seen countless people he's considered close or family die in front of him, he still finds a way to remain level-headed. I think he handles a lot of the situations better than the adults. He's helped Sara countless of times out of a dark place, even when she was having intense hallucinations about Joe.
Gin is best boy, and I love the autistic representation. Gin is a pure, honest, and adorable soul. He deserves all of the hugs.
He's not a stereotype. He's just a kid. He's just a funky little kid. He's wonderful. Gin's wonderful.
I also love him because his outfit gives me serotonin.
Gin is just such a good boy. He's so wholesome and cute.
Cat boy, dog boy, monkey boy, bat boy, whatever he is, he's always best boy.
I want to put Gin in my pocket and feed him like mini M&Ms.
I'm best boy, meow.
You Ed Kyra is a game that got me to meet new people who also like You Ed. So in a way, it brings people together.
Reko and Alice have the greatest sibling dynamic of all time.
Kurumada was shown to be very rough around the edges, intimidating as if to convey that he wasn't really someone who would do great with a team of optimists like the OG cast. We slowly see Kurumada beginning to open up his heart, wanting to work alongside Sara and everyone else. I really love characters like this, who start off all hard and stone-faced, but as you learn more about them, they turn out to be sweethearts who want to do good in the end.
Mew-chan is so cute. I want him in real life. And he's totally the mastermind, by the way.
Did y'all see the Cephalen booty? I saw the Cephalen booty. Trust me. I definitely saw the Cephalen. I sound thirsty, I know, but I saw the booty. Oh my gosh, she's bending over like, oh! It was glorious. I didn't know I needed it, but you know what? I'm glad that I got to witness it.
The moment that made me cry was, honest to God, AI Joe and Sara reuniting.
I think our iconic Sara and AI Joe scene takes the cake. It's a really heartwarming scene and it made me cry like a baby.
The original composition during that scene, after a heated main game, my god, it was the perfect balance and easily one of my favorite moments in the whole series.
Fast-paced scenes and high-intensity moments are ones you'll never forget in YTTD.
The constant callbacks to first trials, to just names being left off lists, to even the parallels on the Russian roulette in both Chapter 1 and Chapter 3. Every little detail in this game matters.
I like the whole deal with Mai's gloves, how they hinted at it really subtly, and how only really sharp-eyed players would catch on to the detail. And at the banquet, it finally pays off in the creepiest, most craziest way possible of Midori's hands.
How it's able to build suspense, with a simple art style but fantastic writing.
The lore for Your Turn to Die goes deeper than the Grand Canyon.
The plot of Your Turn to Die is really engaging and moving. I don't usually get emotional playing games, but Your Turn to Die was definitely an exception.
Genuinely some of the best game writing I've ever seen.
The writing in this game is phenomenal. It makes you feel for the characters, even if you don't know them for a really long time.
The writing is so top tier, and I'm always blown away by the unexpected plot twists. The story building is astounding, and probably one of the best I've seen from a game.
Nothing feels like it was out of left field and shouldn't have happened and has no explanation because it's stupid. It all feels extremely natural, even though it's extremely unpredictable too, and I appreciate that.
I like how the game not only makes the choices on who can live and who can die immersive, but it also makes several of the death scenes immersive too, like Joe's and Nao's. And that just adds an extra layer of responsibility onto you as the player and makes you feel really and truly a part of the game.
Ranmaru being insecure about his height, but when you look at the cutscenes, he's completely average. He's kinda dumb.
I love both Ranmarus, the soft boy Ranmaru and the awakened Ranmaru. Also sheep. Bah!
The sad stuff. Oh god, I'm an emotional bitch.
It's one of those stories that really draws you into the emotions of these characters and what they're going through.
This is perhaps the only game that made me 100% emotionally invested and lose sleep over in a good way. Well done, Nankidai.
Reko later realizing that she's been made to have a grudge against Alice and it was all fake and that she should have just trusted in him. Fuck.
In fact, there are multiple routes that lead to different outcomes.
I like that it's a sort of choose your own adventure type thing.
It makes the game far more interesting.
The game makes you feel immersed by giving the choice of who to kill. It literally makes me feel responsible for the deaths, like I'm walking up to the character and saying, "It's your turn to die." It makes me feel like an actual participant, which I just love so much, even though it hurts.
The amount of paths and their detailed consequences are very creative.
I really like how it's not very obvious when the story branches out, so you really have to actually think about your actions if you want to get favorable results.
I'm sorry, Alice. I'm sorry, Kanna.
I still can't get over the many major route differences in 3B.
I really love how there's so many possibilities. I'm like explaining it to some people and they're like, well, what's the right path to go down? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to make two completely separate lines by the time you get to chapter 3. Especially with how much they diverge in 3B. The routes are distinguished is the logic route and the emotion route. Like, it doesn't make you feel like you did a wrong thing by killing either So or Kanna. It's just like which one you value more, like emotion or logic. And then that's the route you go on. I appreciate that a lot.
Feral Gin. Hate to love it and love to hate it.
The fact the entire game was made in RPG Maker. So many RPG Maker games look exactly the same. The way Nankidai made the game, he really utilized the RPG Maker software, like, in a really unique way.
The fact that Keiji and Gin also survived for so long just makes me really, really happy. The more content they have, the more I just fall in love with them.
One of the best things about the art of the game is how you can actually see it improve over time. It's just so cool to see Nankidai's art style form into something so unique and distinct.
The fact that we're near the end of the game and there is still so much we don't know.
I like how there's enough mystery around every character to make everybody suspicious in their own way.
The entire mystery of the games is very intriguing and really draws you in.
You're always wanting to know more and keep playing. It's pretty addictive.
The mysteries within the game are so interesting and good enough to make people want to create theories and get together to learn more about this amazing visual novel.
The story's great, but you have to recognize the ability of this game to hide the bigger parts of the world while still leading the player on the trail based on the different characters that they decide to keep alive.
This game has made me distrust Gin. And look at him, he's so cute and adorable. But I don't know, man. It makes sense that Mishima's head might be in Mew-chan.
The Banquet from Chapter 3. It might be because of recency bias, but seriously, every strength of Your Turn to Die is evident in that moment.
Probably the most exhilarating thing that I've ever experienced while playing a visual novel game. I never thought my decisions would matter so hard.
A game hasn't made me this anxious in a while.
Oh, the banquet made me want to die like so many times.
I was shaking. I was sweating. I've never sweated while playing a visual novel. Danganronpa never did that to me. Zero Escape never even did that to me. But Your Turn to Die did it in Chapter 3B.
And God, it is so good to finally finish off Midori after so much taunting.
I am so appreciative of how fast a VG person translates the games and how good of a job they do too. And literally I wouldn't have experienced it without them. So if you're watching this, you rock. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
It's very wholesome when the whole Your Turn to Die fan made #ThankYouNankidai to appreciate him for the great game he created.
I can't forget about the fandom, made up of some of the most dedicated and creative people I've seen.
I love how creative the fandom is. Designs, the cosplays, the AUs, and roleplays that people come up with.
Your Turn to Die's community is honestly very welcoming and fun. From the cosplays to the art, it's all really good. And of course, the memes are beautiful.
It's overall a really good time, and I'm always stoked to see something new come out.
Edits, videos, memes, art, and more.
I think we can all agree Your Turn to Die is not the most popular game, but it has an incredibly dedicated fan base, which is just awesome.
Most of the fandom is so cursed that it makes me feel right at home.
The fandom, from what I've seen, is very talented. I love how people can cosplay these crazy designs, and I can also just sit back and watch a bunch of Your Turn to Die vines, TikToks, and animatics. Keep up the great work, guys!
Thank you, Nankidai, for creating this amazing game.
It's one of the best in the death game genre and it only keeps getting better and better. It's been a great year for Your Turn to Die, and here's to even more great ones to come. Thanks for watching, y'all. Hope you had a good time. Super grateful to everyone who sent in audio for the video. Make sure to follow each and every one of them. Social links are in the description below. Comment below what thoughts you agreed with in the video and what you love/appreciate about Your Turn to Die/Kimi-ga-Shine. Link and subscribe. Click the subscribe button. This is KGOKev signing out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out for now.